Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 49. This is a review lesson. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the student's card pack of sight words on which they're currently working, some blank index cards for introducing new sight words, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, the keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the student's card pack. For the syllable card drill today, we'll be doing some 3-syllable words. You will have to have these ones all cut out and ready to go. You'll place the syllables in the left column. The syllable 2s all go in the middle, and the syllable 3s all go in the third column. In this drill, the student will read down each column, first, middle, and then third. Then they'll read across the rows, making nonsense rows, and then the words, and then they'll turn them into real words. You'll have the magnetic letter tile drills for reading and spelling instruction sheets, plus the cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape. You'll have the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme, grapheme, kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson. Today, those sheets include a scooping syllables worksheet, and you'll have a chart. When we're reviewing the 1-1-1 rule and the sounds of ED, we'll use this chart. And then in addition, we'll have our regular papers, which will include a single word list, the short story, and the 3 sentences for the writing section of the lesson. You'll notice that on the table there are no additional drills today, but you might have a timer, and you'll need that timer if you have introduced a fluency piece to the lesson. If you'd like to learn more about how and when to do this, refer to the beginning of lesson 33. Okay, student, let's begin with the sight word study method. Take out your list of sight words, and I want you to read through each index card. And then when you get a word correct, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. After you're finished reading through all the words, you'll give the card pack to your teacher. And then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read through all the words, and you will write them down. When you get a word correct, after you've written it down, you'll put a check mark in the other corner of the index card. Then it's time to have a quick discussion about which of those words has been mastered. If there is a mastered word, you will remove it from the card pack. This opens up space in the pack so that if there's time, you can introduce a new sight word. Let's do the short vowel drill. Student, you can take out your keyword pictures and your keyword sentence for this one. Your first keyword picture there is an apple, and you're going to take 2 fingers, trace the shape, and say the word, apple. Then you'll underline it and say the target sound, ah. You'll do this as many times as your teacher deems necessary, and then you'll move on to the next keyword picture. After you've finished all the pictures, you will take out that keyword sentence, and you'll say the sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. Student, you're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Your word is bin. Can you repeat that word? I might say, it was time to clean up, so I put my Legos back in the bin. Okay, I would like you to build the word bin with the colored tiles, and then tap it and say it. Okay, do you have 3 different colors down? If you do, that's right. So if that's bin, I'm wondering, could you put a k on the end of bin? And now what do you have? Tap it and say it. Did you get bink? If you did, that's right, not a real word. Do you see how it's really difficult to say that I sound when you have the n and the k right after it? It turns into that ink. So let's keep the b and the ink. And let's add a O. So can you take a new color, call it O, put it right after the B in bink. And what's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get blink? If you did, that's right. Good work. Find the I in blink. and change the I into an What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get blunk? If you did, that's right. Not a real word. Let's turn it into a real one. So find the B in blunk. Change the B into a K. What's your new word? Did you say clunk? If you did, that's right. And find the in clunk. Change the into an A. And what's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you say clank? If you did, that's right. Great job. You can put your tiles away. Let's do the visual drill. Student, you'll need your card pack for this one. The teacher flashes a card and the student says the sound or sounds that grapheme will make. Let's do an example. Student, here's one that has 4 different sounds. What sounds do you know for this one? Say them now. And then we'll check the work. This one makes 4 sounds. Ed, which is what you would expect. Ed. But it can also be said as id. Sometimes you hear people say it with a, sounds like a short I sound when we say it sometimes. There are times when ed is pronounced as a d or t as well. Ed is a suffix and we add it onto the end of words. It turns things into the past. So think of this. Hop. If I put ed on that one, it turns into hopped. You hear the t. So ed is making a t sound there. Okay, teacher, you can do about say 6 to 8 flashcards and then come back to me. Let's do the auditory drill. This time the teacher has the card pack and doesn't show the card pack at first to the student. Student, your sound is V. Can you repeat that sound? Now what symbol goes with V? As you're writing it, say the sound and then underline it and say the sound again. Then we'll check the work. Did you get TH? If you did, that's right. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 more flashcards and then come back to me. It's time for the syllable card drill. Your teacher has this one all set up on the table for you. You'll read down all the syllables in column number 1, then 2, then 3. Then you'll read across the rows, making nonsense words as you go. Finally, it's time to unscramble the words. Leave the ones in column 1 alone so that you only have to move the 2 and 3 syllable column ones around to make real words. As you do this, discuss the meanings of the words and also try to put some of the words into sentences. Let's do some syllable pounding. This is where you stretch out your arm and you tap your arm every time you hear a syllable in a word that I say, and then you can count up how many syllables there are. Some of you might prefer to have your hand under your chin, and every time a syllable happens, the jaw drops because when you say the vowel sound, it forces the jaw to drop. Water would have 2, and I know that because it hits my hand twice. Water. Okay? So you can do either method, your choice. Your syllable is im. How many? Did you get 1? That's right. It's not a word on its own, but I hear that I sound in im. Okay, how about imprison? How many in that word? Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. How about this one? Consistent. If I can shoot my basketball into the net 8 times out of 10, that's a very consistent shot. Consistent. Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. How about this one? Infect. How many? Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. Great work. Let's practice scooping syllables by doing the Scooping Syllables worksheet. You might not have time to do all 3 of the words on there, and notice that there are some real words and there's one that's a nonsense word. You will want to take out your instructions for how to scoop syllables as well. Remember that you start by dotting under the vowels and then making your scoops, marking down what type of syllables they are, And finally, marking down what the vowel says. Is it a short sound or a long sound? Let's do a review of the 111 rule and the sounds of ED. Can you take out your 111 rule card? Let's start with that. Let's just go over what that's all about. We've been talking about how when we have larger words, we can divide the words up into the main meaning, which is the syllable that is called the base. And then sometimes there would be like a little bit on the front, and that syllable would be called the prefix. Pre means before, and we're fixing it onto the front. If I fix something onto the end of a word, well, then that is called the suffix. So in this case, we have ed as the suffix. And let's tap this one and say it. Did you get jet? If you did, that's right. So I might say, I will jet around the world. But if I did it in the past, I would say, I jetted around the world. Wouldn't that be nice? So if I add this on here, I have to think, are there any spelling rules that kick in? So I look at my base and I think, okay, is this a one syllable base? Yes, it is. Is there one short vowel? Yes, it is. And by short, I mean, is it saying the apple, Eddie, itchy, olive, or up sounds? In this case, it's saying Eddie, so that is a short vowel. And is it followed by only one babysitter? And the answer is yes. So in this case, if I want to add an ending, a suffix, and the suffix starts with a vowel, I need to double my T. What we're trying to do with this rule is we're trying to create a buffer, two consonants instead of just one, in between these two vowels. Because I want to make it really clear that this is a closed syllable, so I remember how to read my Eddie sound. So that is the purpose of what we're trying to do. I've got a little chart for you to complete, and you're going to work through this with your teacher. And as you choose a word, you will write it on your chart. Let's get the chart out so I can show you. It looks like this. And you'll choose a word at the bottom, which is a base, and you'll write it here. Is it one syllable? Give it a check. Is there one short vowel? Give it a check. And then you'll look, does the word end in only one consonant? Because some of these do and some of these don't. If you have 3 checks, then after you write your suffix ed here, you'll write the whole word, and you'll have to decide, is it a doubler or a not? Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. You'll need your cookie sheet with your magnetic letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape. Your sound is P. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is Ah. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is D. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now I'd like you to add a suffix. Id. Find the correct tiles for that and pull them to the middle. Okay, now you've got the word in front of you, so tap it and say it. And think about any spelling rules that need to get applied. Okay, did you spell that word P-A-D-D-E-D? If you did, that's right. We have to double the D in padded because padded is one syllable with one short vowel followed by only one consonant, and we're trying to add the suffix ed. Did you write the suffix as ed, even though it sounds like it should be I as in itchy? I hope so. Okay, great work. You can put your tiles away, and let's get ready for a new word. Sound is H. Can you repeat that? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And the last sound is D. Can you repeat that sound? And find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. And now it's time to think about what is the base in that word and what is the suffix. And you're going to have to think, how is the suffix spelled? And then, are there any other spelling rules that need to get applied? Okay, so you tap it and say it. And you'll get the word hummed. Did you spell it H-U-M-M-E-D? If you did, that's right. It's really tricky. We have to be aware that that ed can sound like a d, a t, an id, or an ed. So there's 4 different sounds that you might hear, but you're always going to write it as ed. Okay, teacher, if there's time, you could do another word in this way. And if not, then move on to the single word list and then have the student read the short story. After that, that's where the fluency piece would come in if you've introduced that. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. You'll need your cookie sheet with your letters in a rainbow shape for this one. Your word is hunted. Can you repeat that word? I might put it in a sentence by saying, when it was the correct season, they hunted. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in hunted? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound in hunted? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound in hunted? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound in hunted? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now you've got your base, so you want to tap it and say your base. And then we're going to add this id to hunt, hunted. So in id, how will you write that? Grab the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. Okay, apply any spelling rules that need to get applied. And tap it and say it. Did you spell hunted H-U-N-T-E-D? If you did, that's right. Even though we hear id, we're going to write it as ed. We know it's a suffix and we know it's the ed suffix. And you didn't have to double the T in hunted because we already have 2 consonants that separate those 2 vowels. The base is ending in 2 consonants already. Okay, put those tiles away and let's try a new word. Your word is filled. Can you repeat that word? I could say, I filled the bucket with sand. What's the first sound that you hear in filled? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in filled? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound in filled? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. That's our base, and now let's add the suffix. Filled. Find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. Okay, let's think about the spelling rules that have to get applied. And tap it and say it. Did you spell filled F-I-L-L-E-D? If you did, that's right. So when we hear that extra sound on the end of the base, fill, when we hear that d, we know that it's going to be the ed because that's the suffix. Okay, great work. Teacher, if there's time, you could do another word in this way. And if not, then let's go on to writing single words. Student, you'll need a lined paper and a pencil for this one. We'll begin, I'll say the word, and then you can tap out the sounds and saying the sounds as you do it, or you could choose to trace it on a body part, and as you trace the letter, you'll say the sound. In either case, once you've done that step, you can grab the word, say the whole word, and then you will write it down. Your word is tented. Can you repeat that word? Now tap or trace it. And then write it down. Okay, teacher, check the work. And if there's a mistake, have a quick discussion. All right, your next word is kissed. Can you repeat that word? Okay, now tap it and then write it down. Okay, teacher checks the work. And teacher, you can do more words in this way if you have time. And if not, you can move on to the writing sentences portion of the lesson. You will read all 3 sentences to the student, and the student will choose the 2 that will be written. Student, after you write a sentence, I would like you to check your sentence with CHOPS. Let's do a quick review before you go. We've been talking about the 1-1-1 rule. If I have a word like this one, can you tap and say that word? Just the BAT part. Did you get bat? If you did, that's right. That's the part of the word that has the main meaning. And what I want to do is I want to take bat and I want to add the suffix ed onto it. When I do that, because ed starts with a vowel, I might run into a problem. I'm trying to always separate the vowel in the suffix from the vowel in the base. And I want to do this by making 2 babysitters, 2 consonants. One is not good enough for this when we're adding suffixes to close syllables. So I apply the 1-1-1 rule. Is there 1 syllable? Yes or no? Yep. Is there 1 short vowel? Yep. And is there only 1 babysitter, 1 consonant? Yes, at the end of the word. So for that reason, I would have to double my T to spell batted. When I add this suffix ed, it's going to sound in different ways when I try and read it. So what are the different ways that ed can sound? It has 4 different sounds it can make. Can you say the sounds to your teacher? Did you say ed, id, d, and t are the possible sounds of ed? If you did, that's right. Great job today. That's the end of lesson 49. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.